Let's say you want to Git integrate your workspace in Fabric. Now there's some reasons for this. You might not want to use the user interface to code. Maybe you want to code your database tables or your warehouse tables with code instead of using the interface. And so there's reasons you might want to Git integrate your workspaces. Now if you've tried this and you just need a little bit of help, a bit of tips and tricks, then follow along. Now it's important that you either use GitHub or you use Azure DevOps. Now let's just say you're starting from fresh and you're like, let me set this up. And I'll show you the hurdles I came across, some of which are that your Fabric capacity needs to be in the same region as your Azure DevOps. So for example, let's say that we wanted to sign up for, let's get rid of that quickly. So DevOps, for example, let's just say we didn't even have an organization yet. So we'll say, let's go to this one. Let's get rid of this quickly. And we didn't even have a DevOps organization. So you just find your way to Azure DevOps. Then you have to sign in with your organizational account and then click on continue. And then you'll get this screen. So it's very similar to this. And what it wants you to do is say, all right, what's the name of your organization? Now, for many companies, you might have many organizations in your company. Now, it doesn't mean that you can only have one organization for your entire company. You can have many DevOps organizations, all right? And so don't be hindered by the fact that it's like, oh, I've got to have an organization that's just for my company and I can only have one. So you can have many. So but they actually have to be globally unique, right? So I couldn't do, for example, Fabulous, because then and more than likely it exists already. Now there you go. So it'll tell you the name already exists. So give yourself a unique name here and then sign up for that. Then once you've done that, you'll have something like this. So you'll have many organizations here, more than likely for your company. And this one is called, I made this one called Fabulous 5620. And inside of your organization, you can have many different projects. So you can see this is project 1, and I can have project 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So let's say that we wanted to hook this up to Git. So we go to our workspace settings, and then we choose our DevOps. But let me just show you that there's two options here, right? I'll log out of this quickly. That you have either Azure DevOps or Azure GitHub. Now, if you don't see the GitHub and it's grayed out, for example, you just need to go to your, I'll just go to this quickly, click on Admin Portal. And then once you're in the Admin Portal, now I know not everyone has access to the Admin Portal, of course, but if you do, then great. We can use this filter here, which is really handy. Type in Git, and then you got this GitHub here. Now, this is probably disabled by default, so you enable this either for specific security groups or for the entire organization. So depending on how much control you have over your admin, over your tenant, then go ahead. Otherwise, ask your IT department to sort that out for you. So let's go back to, click on that. So let's go back to this. Let's just say we did want to use Azure DevOps, and I'm using the Contoso environment here. So it's just a made up organization. So if I click on that, go to Fabulous 5620, go to my project number 1, and the Git repository, by the way, if you're confused about that, why it's the same, every time you create a new project, it'll create a repository with the same name by default. But you can create a new repository. Let's just give it let's just call it Fabric Repo, for example. All right, so we'll add a README and we'll initiate this with a main branch. There it is. So now it's got a main branch, and this is, you can see now I've got 2 repositories. So let's say I wanted to use that new repository here. Sadly, I think we have to refresh this page to get that. So let's just, what did I call it? I can't remember now. Fabric Repo. Let's see if that works. Doesn't work. Okay, so refresh the page. Have to start again. Oh, that's all good. It's part of life. Come into Workspace settings, Git integration, Azure DevOps, connect. Organization, Fabulous 5620, project number 1, and Fabric Repo, and the branch will be the main branch. So I want to always sync to my main branch. Now the Git folder yeah, I haven't used this very much, so I'm just going to click on sync and see what it does. So now you can see that the Git status is busy syncing, but certain things don't sync to Git, and what those are at the minute, I can't remember, but you'll find that certain things will not sync to the Git. So let's go look to see what it's doing. If we go inside here now, if I refresh this page, more than likely in a few minutes there might be stuff, but again, like I say, some things don't sync. So let's create ourselves something while we wait. So let's go with, what do we got here? We've got data flow. Let's create a data pipeline, which if you're familiar with Data Factory, we'll call it Factory Pipe 1, something like that. There you go. So you can see already in the background that Dataflow Gen 2s are unsupported for Git integration. Activity, we did like, I don't know, a copy data. Let's just say we copied data from, I don't know, our lake. Maybe it was a file or something. And then the destination was our warehouse. And maybe auto create table. And we'll just say, all right, DBO table 1. And let's see if we can save that without doing much. Let's see if we can do that. Save. All right, so we need a destination. The source mustn't be binary. Let's change that to, I don't know, let's make it a, where's my CSVs? No CSVs? Delimited text. Let's see if we can save that without adding anything. Yes. Nice one. Okay, so we just got a simple copy activity. Go back to our workspace. There you go, it's synced. Now let's see what it looks like in our repo. Let's refresh this page. There it is. So we've got our lake synced and we've got our warehouse synced, but our pipeline is not yet there. Let's see, uncommitted. So now you're going to get it uncommitted, right? So let's go to our source control 1. Click on that. It'll tell you what's not committed yet to your main branch. There you go. So I've got a factory pipe 1, not yet committed. Let's just say new pipeline added. Okay, just click on it and commit. And that's going to commit like if you're familiar with Git commits and pushes, they'll be familiar to you. And the symbol is now ticked. So if we go back here, refresh our page, there it is, Data Factory Pipeline 1 and pipeline content. So if you're familiar with factory pipelines and you want to code in JSON, go for it. Then you got it right here. So then if you wanted to use this further on, maybe you wanted to put this into another workspace, the way in which we use Git in Fabric, I think is still in progress. It's evolving and people are finding ways, creative ways to use source control and in Git repos in between workspaces. But I just thought I'd show you today of how to set that up within your workspace settings. Let's think if there's anything else you need to know. When it comes to your pipelines, let's go back to this button here, deployment pipelines. Now, actually, my deployment pipeline is not set up for that new workspace. What I did want to show you was the fact that this workspace, which is actually residing on my other Fabric capacity, which is in the West US. And let me go and start that capacity. In fact, I've got this window open here. So go back into my Azure. I've got a US capacity. And I'll just resume that quickly. So in order to see warehouses and lake houses, you need a capacity. To do Power BI, basic stuff, you don't need a capacity. You can just use your license, like your pro license and such. You don't need a capacity for that. But if you want to use warehouses, lake houses, event houses, you need a capacity. So this one is connected to the US. But if I try to Git integrate this to my DevOps, and I selected this organization resides in the UK. You'll see that I'll select my main branch. I'll click connect and it'll say details error. It'll say the workspace is in a different region, this workspace that we're working on right now. And it says, go to the workspace admin settings to enable cross-region connections. Now, there's actually I don't see the setting anywhere. Unless somebody can show me this, I have no idea. So what I did to solve that was to make a Fabric capacity in the same region as my Azure DevOps. Because making the DevOps in a different region, I don't know how to do that either. So I just thought the quickest way for me to do that is to create a Fabric in the right region that is the same region as my Azure DevOps. So just to show you that I don't think that setting is there, let's go to, so what we're looking for is that setting. It said, oh, go to Workspace Admin Settings. So I'm like, okay, let's go to Workspace Admin Settings. Let's look for cross-region. So I don't think you're going to find it anywhere. We've got General. We don't have anything under General. Licensing information. Obviously, that's where you now select your capacity. At the minute, it's sitting under the West US. Let's just assume that you weren't able to create yourself a Fabric capacity in a different region. So you didn't have a choice. Yeah, I don't see any cross-region. Storage, it's not there. OneLake. What is in here? Data access through shortcuts that we cache into OneLake. No. Identities, I don't think cross-region is going to be there. Manage private endpoints, probably not. So I don't think it's in Power BI. I don't think it's in here. Users can sync workspaces item with GitHub repos. Okay, I've selected it on. So that's delegated settings. Edit scope, that will be who can do that. Okay. These are Spark settings for your notebooks and such. And these are your data factory settings. So I don't think it's there, but it could be in your admin portal, which again, not everyone has access to, depending on your organization. So let's just look for, I did this yesterday just in preparation for this, and I couldn't see anything about cross regions. So let's go region. So nothing under cross. Copilot Azure OpenAI services. I don't think that's got to do with our problem in hand. The best I could see was this one, and I tried this setting and it never worked. So turning on the setting allows users within your organization to see Power BI metadata in Microsoft 365 services, even if these tenants are located in different geographical regions. So that setting did not sort it out. So therefore, what I did is I created a new workspace, and I just gave it the name UKS just so I knew, and I went to Workspace settings, and obviously I created myself the Fabric capacity in the UK South, and then I went to here and I selected my capacity in the UK South under my license info. Now let's just double check that inside of the Azure DevOps. Now I'm not sure how it works with GitHub itself, so that would be quite interesting to see if we did do it with GitHub, whether it would have that same problem. So I'm under organizational settings here. You can see that the geography is United Kingdom there, region UK South. I don't think you can change that. And if you make a new organization, I don't know if you have the option to select its whereabouts. So you can. There you go. So United States. So when you do create your DevOps, create it in the same region as your Fabric capacity. And be sure to note that maybe your company has policies around where the data is kept and where you can create things. So make sure you don't infringe on a policy that your company has made. So important to note then, your Azure DevOps needs to be in the same region as your Fabric capacity. Let's lastly try to connect this to Azure GitHub and see what it does. So let's assume that we wanted to connect our other workspace, which resides in on a capacity in the West US. And we said we want to use GitHub for that. So let's go to GitHub, Git integration, click on GitHub. There aren't any accounts. Connect this workspace with GitHub by adding an account. So let's add an account here. Right, so to get a token, we go to, I think, developer settings, personal tokens, fine-grained tokens. So we'll call it Fabric token. And we'll expire it in 30 days. And then we'll go selected repositories, Fabric repo work. Try to say that fast. Back to here, paste that in, add. Let's see if we get this. Here you go. Not now. Add account, connect. Let's click connect. All right, so here we go. Branch, main, and connect and sync. Look at that. No region issues with GitHub. So that's a good thing. There you go. So that's the way you can connect your your workspace to Git, either using Azure DevOps or GitHub. GitHub, no problems with cross-region. Doesn't seem to be an issue. But if you're using Azure DevOps, make sure your organization in DevOps and your Fabric capacity is in the same region. So, saying that, while we waited, credentials for the Git provider are not authorized to perform the action. Yeah, I'm not sure about all of these settings, but let's try and update that. Let's see what we get. So, going back to Fabric. Let's refresh our page just in case. And Git status committed. Let's click on our source control. Let's try and commit this. Oh, there you go. It's working. So it must be one of those settings that we've just done with our fine-grained control. More than likely, let's go back to that. What was it? We've got read and write access to email addresses, GitHub, profile, and starring. And we've got read and write access to administration, code, commit statuses, discussions, issues, merge queues, and pull requests. Let's go with that. So it seems to be all working now. I hope that's helped you in sorting out your Git integration on your Fabric workspaces. Thanks for watching.